The law is so unclear and such a gray area on what child sexual abuse material is, on what child sexual explicit material is, that in this great day and age, in Donald Trump's America of 2025, it is legal to make and produce child sexually explicit material and sell it, even when the parent is running the account. How is this even happening? Before we get into this, I just want to say I'm sorry for how I sound and how I look. I am sick and I am not feeling the best, so this is probably going to be a pretty short video, but I wanted to get this out there. And also, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. It would really mean a lot to me because I am trying to grow this platform as much as I can. Let's get on with the video. So this week, some drama popped off on TikTok, specifically drama coming out of the Bop House. And if you don't know what the Bop House is, it is a creator house for S workers, specifically OF workers, I believe. That's not the issue, right? Okay, like there's gonna be drama. That's marketing. That's how you drive up the engagement. I get that. However, some of these girls decided to go ahead and collab with a minor, a 17-year-old girl. And by collab, no, I do not mean they filmed adult content and then sold it, okay? I could only hope that authorities would be banging on the door if that did happen. Although, honestly, my hopes are so low at this point with our justice system. Like, literally look around anyway. So they just filmed like the normal TikToks that the girls in the Bop House would typically film, except with a minor. And even in one of the videos, and if I can find them, I'll put them up on the screen and stuff. Even on one of the videos, there were heavy implications on like, oh, is this minor gonna join the Bop House when she's 18? New member, question mark. I mean, like, you can name it. And I can already smell the comments. I can already smell those of you saying, the problem is not the girls. The problem is people like you sexualizing it. A sex worker content house is sexual. When the majority of what the sex workers post is to drive engagement to their explicit accounts, it is sexual. And there's literally never a reason that a minor should be in the public's eye on a sex worker's page being promoted in that way. Oh, but they weren't promoting her because she's not actually going to do it. You don't know that. She's not 18. Now, the mother of this minor, her name is Tiffany Smith. That is the mother that allows all of this to happen, is putting the green stamp of approval on it, and even has set up an account for her minor daughter with Brand Army, where they sell exclusive photos at 3 different tier package levels to viewers who purchase them. I literally can't even show you a screenshot of like the page for the Brand Army thing where it like shows the different tiers because it is child sexually explicit material. The profile picture, everything is. The most expensive tier was $100, while I think the least expensive tier was $5. Now, if that's not enough to get you guys to see how this is legal child sexually explicit material being created and sold behind a paywall, maybe what I'm about to say next will. Miss Tiffany actually settled out of a $22 million lawsuit last fall. And what was the lawsuit about? Multiple minors coming forward with allegations against Tiffany for molestation, child abuse, grooming, things of that nature. But that's where we're at right now with this, okay? So what I'm not gonna do is show you guys all of the evidence. What I'm not going to do is give you usernames and handles so that it can drive up the engagement more, because I don't feel comfortable doing that. And also I do feel like this has been talked about by a lot of other creators, and I will try to remember to tag some videos and link some videos down below that are very helpful with like kind of explaining the entire situation in depth. I think right now I'd really like to take my time to just be very frank and speak directly to any minor that is watching this video right now, any minor that looks at sex workers and those are your idols, those are your inspirations, that's who you aspire to be like. If you're looking at Piper and you're thinking, wow, if only I could be like her, look like her, have her life, I have to do the things that she does to get there, I want to tell you that no, you don't have to. And I would very heavily encourage you, if you're thinking about doing some form of sex work, wait. try to do anything else that you can before you decide to dive into that world. And I'm going to add a video of this creator that I saw on TikTok who I feel like explained this very well, and she herself is a sex worker.
Unpopular opinion from a bop: you do not need to be a bop right when you turn 18. Try something else first, you know? You have lots of other options. I tried hair school, music school, art school. I went to college for 4 years. Yes, indeed. Try something else first, because once you're a bop, you probably won't have the chance to try everything that you wanted to try. I feel like bops need to stop pushing on younger people that this is a great job for you. It is a great job for me, but it may not be a great job for the people that you're trying to push it onto, you know?
And I think that this is something that little girls and little boys everywhere need to hear. In the midst of having the voices of just do it and you'll be rich, just do it, who cares what people think, just do it, I think it's very important to hear this message as well. And listen, I get it, and I just want to honestly share my own experience with something like this. Now, I was never paid money. I was never given trips and vacations. This was back in 2011 to 2013 era, right? Instagram was just now starting to pop off, and me and all of my friends obviously were on Instagram. And this was back when like the goal was to get like as many followers as possible, as many likes as possible. And like, yes, I know like that's everybody's goal now, but it was just, there's no niche, nothing. It's just get as many followers as you can, right? And so a common thing that we would do back then is like there was apps that you could download that would like give you hashtags to like put on your post, and it'd be like hashtag like for like, follow for follow, and all of this other stuff that was like meant to drive up engagement to your post and find people that like, you know, you can follow each other, like your post, like whatever. I don't know if anybody else, maybe that was just my school that did that, but I feel like that was like the thing that happened back then. But that was really dangerous because that opened up the door to a lot of strangers having access to minors. And I was one of those. And I remember being approached on Instagram by this man whose Instagram account looked completely normal. If I remember right, he just like made coffee. Like it was just like a lot of posts about coffee, like cappuccinos and lattes and things like that. But he messaged me talking about how beautiful I was and how he could help me grow my following. And instantly I'm hooked because I'm like, yes, like I am trying to have like the most popular account. I am trying to, you know, beat all my friends, prove myself, whatever it was. And then it got sinister real quick when he said that he would post me on his second Instagram page. And through that second Instagram page, I would then get like a huge influx of followers. It was basically a shout out page, which those weren't uncommon back then. Like back then, like shout out pages, like those were a thing. Like people would literally like pay $5, $10 to have an account, post their picture. And that was like literally all the account was. It's just like literally just photos of random people being like, follow this person. It was weird back then. I don't know. But I'm like, yeah, like, okay, like whatever. Like I don't have to pay for the shout out. Like, cool. You're just going to post me and that's that. Like, cool. I'll get a lot of followers. And then he told me that I needed to take specific pictures for him. And basically, the less clothes I wore and the more suggestively I posed, the more likely I would get followers. And it did work. It did work. Yes, it did work. And to this day, I don't know where those photos are. I don't know if those photos are still on Instagram. I don't know if he is still on Instagram. I don't know if he is still doing this. But I remember feeling really good in the moment. Yeah, I remember feeling like unstoppable. Like I was the most beautiful person that was walking on the planet. And I was so mature because I was able to have these like lengthy business conversations with this man. And this was just a business transaction. He never said anything creepy to me. He never showed me anything. The conversation was very business-like. And so I really, really believed that, yeah, this is easy. This is enjoyable. People are enjoying this content of me and coming to my page to support me and follow me and like my pictures because they like me. It's me. But now that I am 25 and I have kids of my own and my brain has or is starting to fully develop, I realized that, they weren't supporting me. They didn't like me. They liked the fact that I had innocence because I was young, and it did not matter how old I felt in my head, how old and mature I was in my mind, because they still viewed me as a 12-year-old, 13-year-old, 14-year-old. That's all I was to them. And that was part of the attraction for them. And looking back now, that makes me sick. Those aren't cool guys that are hitting me up and I'm just so mature for my age. Those are pedophiles. And when you're living in that moment, though, it doesn't feel that way. It feels good. The attention feels good. And especially in today's world where these children can make money doing this, like actual earn money, earn trips and vacations and sponsorships, like it is so validated and it's so okay that we have got to a point where a 17-year-old is legally collabing with sex workers, teasing that she might become a sex worker in a few months, and is already selling sexually explicit photos of herself. And I don't care what you say, oh, she's not naked in the photo, so it's not explicit. Dude, do not play dumb. I hate it. I hate it when people play dumb, when people act like something isn't what it's not. And this is allowed to happen because the law is so gray. This is such a huge gray area because if I'm not mistaken, I think either in all states or the majority of states, when it comes to something being deemed child sexual abuse material or child sexually explicit material, it really just comes down to the opinion of like the judge or like the jury, I guess, or, whoever's overseeing the issue, because some people can look at photos of this 17-year-old, and I have seen some of these photos, and say there's literally nothing wrong with it. I see nothing wrong with this at all. She's not naked and, it's fine. It's a 17-year-old. What's wrong with you? But I see these photos and I know what's happening, not only because to me it is so fucking clear as day, but because I was also that girl. I was also eating it up and really leaning into it because it was beneficial for me in the moment. And I didn't have anybody telling me, hey, these are not the right people. These people are like hungry wolves, and you're just this beautiful little lamb. You're just this beautiful little lamb who's been alone in this field, and now all of a sudden all of these friends are coming and they're giving you attention, and it's loud. It sounds like laughter and applause, and it's actually hungry, growling wolves. What I wish that somebody would have been able to tell me when I was that age and when I was going through that, when I was putting myself through that, I wish that I would have had somebody tell me that I am much more valuable than just what I can physically give the world. I am so much more valuable than just my looks and how turned on I can make people and how many people I can make turned on. I wish somebody would have encouraged me to be creative more younger, to not be afraid to speak my opinions and stand on my own personal facts and business, and to really dive into that part of me that makes me who I am today. Because I feel like a lot of this issue comes from children not truly having any awareness of who they genuinely are, their actual self-identity. And I think that 100% falls on the parents, and it falls on society. It falls on us as well for looking at this behavior and acting like it is normal, instead of looking at this behavior and realizing that it is a call for help. This child needs help to find something to pour all of this time, effort, and energy into that will actually make them successful in the future. And hey, if you've tried everything and your still only goal is to be an S worker, go for it. But please do not do it while you're still a child. And I'm not trying to infantilize older teenagers, but 18 is not an adult. It's not. 19, it's not an adult. 20, 21, I'm 25. Yeah, 25-year-olds also not an adult. Like, we're still maturing. And there will be things that I probably will look back on in 5 years that I'm doing now, maybe things that I've posted now, and I'm gonna be like, oh my God, what in the world? And that's okay. It is okay that there is not this magical age where we're all of a sudden immune from being groomed and targeted, because there's not. And it is so important that we hold people accountable who need to be held accountable. Piper is not to blame here. Nothing Piper is doing is her fault. She has learned this behavior from her mother. This behavior has been supported because of her mother, because her mother is profiting off of her daughter. Can we wake up as a society and realize that our kids deserve better futures, and they deserve to try to figure out who they are before society forces them to pick something out of the blue one day, and then they feel pressured to do things that maybe they wouldn't have really wanted to do otherwise. Anyway, I think that's all I had to say. My throat's getting pretty dry. I hope that made sense. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, subscribe, ring the bell, I think is another thing people say. I don't know. And you guys can follow me on TikTok at Danielle's Advocacy or Facing the Dark, as well as on Instagram at Danielle's Advocacy. And I will try to tag some videos and creators down below that have talked more on the subject, like more of like the details of the content that shall not be named or described right here on my channel. But I mainly just wanted to talk to minors out there who may be going through this, who may be looking at this and saying, I want to do this, who may be looking at this and saying, wow, goals, like I want to do this, it'll be so easy, I'll get so rich so fast, I'll make so much money. Try other things first. You owe yourself that. You owe yourself the opportunity to see what else you have to offer the world other than how you physically look.